AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Muso.
I'm a Barbie girl in the Barbie world.
And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. New potential free agent offensive line target for the New Orleans Saints. Talk about that in about 15 minutes from right now. Chris Marler, LouisianaSports.net. Good enough to jump board with us for a couple minutes here. How are you, dude?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Doing very well. You have had the misfortune of covering SEC basketball for our website.
Yeah.
Because LSU stinks, have not paid a lick of attention. And we are getting close to the NCAA tournament. So who's good?
Well, it's not the two teams that I cover closest, which is LSU and South Carolina. You can just go ahead and forget about both those programs.
Yeah.
That's been a brutal stretch. I don't know if you saw this the other day, Matt. I think I sent it to you, but since 2025, the University of South Carolina has won 5 SEC basketball games in total. I think LSU's right there with them. But who's good? Florida is not just good. They're elite. And I think it's kind of weird because you've had this season where it feels like there's a lot more parity in the conference this year. There's a lot of teams last year that it felt top heavy that were really good and could make the Final Four or make a run in March. And you saw that with 2 teams making the Final Four and multiple number 1 seeds. But this year it feels like that middle stretch of teams and that middle tier is a lot more even, I think, and more balanced. Florida, it does feel like, is running away with not only the league, but it's their conference tournament title to lose, and I think they're going to be the team that obviously makes the deepest run out of anybody in the tournament. But the other one really, like, you want to say Alabama because they're the second highest ranked, and they can score more than anyone else in the country. They've done it 3 years in a row, leading the country in scoring at over 92 points per game. But Arkansas, I think, is the answer because one, you have Coach Cal and his experience there, and they have the best player in the conference, bar none. Darius Acuff is the kind of player that he will either force me to ride Arkansas in my bracket way too far, or he will carry my bracket into the winnings because he is that good of a player for a team that also has a really good starting 5.
Any good games this week? I know they kind of front-loaded the schedule this week. There was just one game yesterday, but what about this weekend? What's on the docket?
So the big one, honestly, is the IBOB, as people over in Alabama call it, the Iron Bowl of basketball. Auburn is in desperation mode to win. Auburn is in desperation mode to get to the actual tournament. There's wild conversations happening with, and I'm getting looks from my fiance Allie over here right now, so maybe I should not have answered this way.
The IBOB. But I'm never gonna. It's the first time I swear to God, it's the first time I've ever heard anybody call it the IBOB, the Iron Bowl.
I don't like
basketball.
it. I'm just telling you what they call it. There's a lot of things
Who
that I don't
calls
like
it
to
that?
repeat from mainly just Bama fans and Auburn fans.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe since no one else has picked up on it, y'all should drop it.
I'm sure that'll go over well with them. I'm sure they'll listen to the outside noise. Usually, especially you, Matt.
Especially
I'm sure
me.
They will just stop. They will stop what they're doing right now and let logic and reason reign supreme.
I'm a sound, reasoned voice in this conversation. I don't have any skin in the game when it comes to Auburn and Alabama and basketball. I don't give a rip.
No, I know. I think the problem is the logic and reason that you're presenting this. So that's not the right way to go about it. But it is probably the biggest game. It's in prime time. Obviously, like I said, Florida has already won the conference. They have the number 1 seed in the conference tournament. The other one, like Missouri, is one you have to watch because Missouri had the most to gain or lose this past week, and with Arkansas win over Texas, there was a string of things that have to happen this week, and there's 3 or 4 games left. I don't have off the top of my head that have to happen, but Missouri could theoretically go from a 3 seed, which they currently are in the SEC tournament bracket, to a 10 seed. Now that's most likely not going to happen, but the first couple of things that had to start the domino effect did take place. So that's something to watch out for as well. But the big thing, I think, if you're looking for SEC basketball this week, is probably the women's tournament. That's probably going to be the most competitive.
The iBob. Oh, my God. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Wait, are you actually following the women's tournament? Because that's not going to be competitive. There's 3 good teams, 3 dominant teams, right?
There's 4 really good teams. It's South Carolina, Texas, Vandy, and I just listen. LSU, they've clearly had their struggles with South Carolina for a decade now, but they're good enough to beat Texas. They beat Texas this year. Vanderbilt is a very, very good team and has the best player in the conference that's put up an average of 30 points per game in SEC play. It's the first time it's ever happened in conference history. I think that'll be fun, but it's one of those things too where that's the tournament where you can just turn it on Friday and see where it goes from there, or even Saturday with the semifinals, because it is going to be those top 4 advancing. But it's a very, very talented group of teams.
Chris Marler's with us, LouisianaSports.net is our SEC writer. You can follow him on Twitter at Vern_Funquist. We're back to Vern Funquist, yeah? Not Dumbquist, we're Funquist again. At Vern
Funquist.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be taken seriously if I'd change it from Vern Dumbquist, but it turns out Vern Funquist isn't taken that much more seriously.
Nope, not really. But it's a good name. But you're going to get to a point soon where the longer Vern has been retired, there's going to be this whole new wave of fans that don't even know who Vern is. And so you're going to have to explain your handle. Did you think about that?
I'm learning this in real time right now. Why are you shattering my dreams?
I mean, think about that, though. Like, how long did we have Brad and Gary? When did Brad take over for Vern? What was Vern's last game?
It was the SEC championship in 2015.
No. 15 was Vern's? That can't be right.
I promise
15
you.
was Vern? Okay, so Vern's, I'll take you at your word. That surprised me it's that long ago. So Vern's been gone for 10 years, dude. So
I know.
Kids that are like graduating high school right now have no idea who Vern Lundquist is.
I don't know if kids graduating high school right now is my demographic.
I understand, but understand what I just told you. Understand what I just told you. Like, you're going to get to a point where, as they're going to grow up, and in the next 10 years, if you're still Vern Funquist, no one's going to know who Vern Funquist is. No one's going to get that.
Well, we have one in our back pocket. I talked to Musso about this a while back. I think I said to Paul about it too. But we were out there for opening day at Alex Box. Somebody referred to me as Fat Moscona, which I feel like because the weight thing right now. You look great. I'm trying to go on that level. I could go with that.
FAT or STAT?
I don't think they meant it THAT. I think it was just FAT.
Oh, so no, I'm sorry, I said STAT. I thought you said Stat Moscona, but you're saying Fat Moscona. You're Fat Moscona.
Yeah.
You can't have my last name. I will not give it to you. You cannot.
Workshop it.
You cannot even borrow it ever. So no, you cannot. You cannot have Moscona. Okay, baseball, real quick. What do you think is the biggest storyline in the conference so far?
I think the easiest thing is to talk about LSU and the struggles. They just have not been able to figure out a way to get the offense and also.
Okay, we talk about LSU all the time here, so give me something other than LSU.
I'm getting there. The other big thing I think to me is that Texas seems to be the most overlooked team in the conference right now, which is kind of wild because they're never, or at least rarely, overlooked in anything, especially with how loud they are as a fan base and media as well. I think the big thing for me is their pitching staff is phenomenal. There's a lot of really good teams I think that have some component that are good enough to get them to Omaha. Like Georgia's offense, they are fantastic. I think they lead the SEC in home runs going into this week with like 38. The pitching staffs at Auburn and Texas. The one that I think is the biggest surprise, and you kind of wonder if they're going to have a similar season to Florida a couple years ago, where Vanderbilt has started the season horribly. Like, you could not have drawn up a worse start for Vanderbilt baseball going into the season and going into really conference play in next week, and especially with opening it against LSU. They have been horrible, and I don't know what the answer is. They moved in their right field wall, and it's a bandbox now in Nashville. I don't know if that will necessarily help. It has not helped their pitching. But I kind of wonder if you're going to see something similar to what we saw with Florida a couple of years ago, which was a lot of good, talented players and a lot of pieces that should be able to hit as well as pitch. But it just has not been. They've not been able to figure out a way to put it together. Will they be able to find that late enough in the season to make the postseason?
Is Palmineri's team any better than last year?
That they lost to Queens. I don't know if it's Queens University or Queens College, but that team won 9 games last year and lost 44.
Oh, no.
And they lost to them. It was the first time in 17 games that they beat a Power 4, Power 5, whatever program. They were 0-17 prior to that. So to answer your question, no. But the cool thing that they did was they beat Clemson in game 1 to kind of bring back that horrible, horrible friend that South Carolina fans have, which is hope. And they promptly lost the next 2 in horrible fashion. They're a very bad team, and they're the second year in a row where their opening day starter, was out for the season before he ever took the mound in a single game in the year.
Poor Paul.
Paul.
Do you think he regrets coming out of retirement?
I don't think he regrets it as much as that fan base regrets it, to be honest. He's forgotten more about baseball than I will ever know. But it has not worked. They gave him more resources this year. It's not been good. And we should have known that. I don't know if you saw the quote after the opening day of the season. They lost their third game it was only day 2 because they opened with a doubleheader. And he said the team didn't want to hit batting practice on the field because they were so tired and worn out from the day before. It was day 2 of the season, Matt. Day 2.
It's a doubleheader. It's a long day.
In baseball, it's so physically exhausting. So, those 18 to 22-year-old athletes were having a real hard time rebounding or bouncing back.
Who are you to talk, Fat Moscona?
Fair.
All right, Chris Marler at Vern_Funquiz. You can read his stuff over at LouisianaSports.net. Thanks, man. See you later.
Thanks, brother.
All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. You heard Marler mention it there. He's engaged. Muse is next. If you're thinking about getting engaged, go to Lee Michaels, lmfj.com. lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. There's 2 locations in Baton Rouge, Corporate Boulevard and Bocage. If you're going down Corporate, it's like toward Jefferson. It's on the right. Mall of Louisiana, first floor. Lafayette, New Orleans, Shreveport. It doesn't really matter what special occasion you're buying for. Maybe you are looking for that beautiful diamond engagement ring, or maybe you have an anniversary coming up, or maybe a special occasion like a promotion at work, or a birthday, or graduation coming up, or whatever it may be. If you need to celebrate with a beautiful piece that will say, I love you, and will be remembered forever, Lee Michaels can help. lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. I appreciate Marler for coming to hang out a little bit. So you can get Chris's content, his SEC content, for free always over at LouisianaSports.net. And God bless, some things are more fun to cover than others. I guess I'm hand in air. I cover LSU Saints, local stuff deep. I say this often, and then you have a surface level knowledge of a lot of other things. He has to know the whole SEC deep. And because LSU's been so bad at basketball, I've just been able to tap out. But he's got to watch all these games and do recaps and power rankings and storylines and all the interesting stuff over there, which it's just not been a banner year. Certainly not locally here anyway. But anyway, you want all the conference coverage, you can get it over at LouisianaSports.net. Yeah, we got Saints and LSU, all different sports, all your SEC coverage there as well, LouisianaSports.net, always free. All right, it's After Further Review. Thursday show is presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Let me knock out a quick break. We've talked plenty, obviously, about the Saints and who they might target in free agency on the offensive line. Everyone sort of unanimously agrees left guard has got to be something they add in veteran free agency. Well, there's another free agent who's hit the market today, and he's got ties to Kellen Moore, and it's worth discussing. We'll do it next on AFR.
After further review.
We're brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. Spell it out, ONE, 1hourbr.com. Look for the big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. Listen, I know we don't normally, in the first week of March, start talking about your AC tune-up, but we're getting close to that because we've been having weeks now of 80-degree temps. It's 78 in Baton Rouge right now at 5:16 in the afternoon. So if you're cranking up your AC and you're having trouble, or maybe at the end of last hot weather season, your AC was kind of running on fumes and it's time to get that thing replaced, how about now before we start getting into the triple-digit temps? Financing's always available. Check them out at River City's 1 Hour Air, 752-0001, 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
NFL league year will begin Wednesday, and we're all anticipating legal tampering will be before then, but we're all anticipating that the New Orleans Saints are, in fact, going to be buyers in free agency, and probably the spot where they're going to be the most aggressive is at offensive guard. Just a quick recap. I think everybody knows this, but the Saints have used their first-round pick the last 2 years to take their bookend tackles with Talea Sefuaga, Kelvin Banks. Seem really good there. Optimistic, two really good young players. You've still got Eric McCoy at center. He'll be coming off injury, but you're settled there. Cesar Ruiz is under contract, former first-round pick at right guard, and while he's not a great player, he is a starter and former first-round pick and under contract. You got to have help at left guard. You had Trevor Penning, didn't pan out. You traded him to the Chargers. Dylan Radens was there this year, and he's a free agent, so you need help there. And you're not going to draft an interior offensive lineman 8 overall. It doesn't seem like whomever might be there at 42 would be a plug-and-play starter, and they have other needs. So if you're committed to spending and you're trying to protect your young quarterback and you need to get better in the running game where you were awful a season ago, going to spend in free agency on a young, veteran, proven interior offensive lineman would stand to reason that it would make a lot of sense as a sensible investment there. And so we've talked about a lot of guys, from Edwards from the Bills, and we've talked about Ed Ingram with the Texans, and really the list of top tier interior offensive linemen free agents, 5 guys from all 5 starters on the offensive line from the Cleveland Browns are all free agents. So Wyatt Teller from Cleveland is one I know we've talked about. Well, the Chargers have released Mekhi Becton. So he's an unrestricted free agent now. And Mekhi Becton, it's worth mentioning. I'm going to go through his history. You probably know the name. He's the former 11th overall pick of the Jets back in the 2020 season. That was the Joe Burrow draft. He went 11th overall. He was a big offensive, giant 6'7" offensive tackle from the University of Louisville. Well, Becton has kind of had this weird path, but in 2024, he was with the Philadelphia Eagles when they won the Super Bowl. And the offensive coordinator was Kellen Moore. And that was arguably Becton's best season as a pro. So a lot of people are kind of connecting those dots with Mekhi Becton. In February of about a year ago, this was like before the Super Bowl, Nick Sirianni, the head coach of the Eagles, this is what he said about Becton. Again, Becton's finishing his first year in Philly right before the Super Bowl. This is what Nick Sirianni said last year about Becton.
We all saw that Mekhi had a lot of talent, and we had a battling spot there for the guard. And I love about Mekhi that, there's been games where he's just been exhausted and his body just is tired and limping off the field after a score, but had that smile on his face and had that connection with his teammates of, man, I just gave everything up for you guys. And I love that about him, of just, man, he's giving it up for his teammates. He truly loves his teammates. His teammates love him. And he's been a great addition, obviously, to this team for this year.
That speaks volumes, hearing Sirianni say that like right before the Super Bowl. And so to give you a little bit of the backstory with Becton, so he was the 11th overall pick of the Jets coming out of Louisville, and he spends 4 seasons in New York with the Jets. The COVID year, his rookie year, was his best season. He was starting at left tackle. He played 691 snaps in that season. His PFF grade was a 74 overall. Pretty good. In 2021, he played just 48 snaps, injury, and missed all of 22 due to injury. So you're talking about a guy that was so highly thought of. He was taken with the 11th overall pick, played well as a rookie, but the next 2 years was just bad. Comes back with the Jets in 2023. They don't pick up his 5th-year option. He plays. His PFF grade was the worst of his career at 53 overall. His pass block grade was a 60.7. His run blocking grade was a 56. He was penalized 18 times. For context, the rest of his career, he's got 19 penalties combined in his other 4 years. He had 18 in that, so he was terrible. And the Jets let him go. So he goes and signs with Philly and has the season on a 1-year prove-it deal in Philly. He wins the starting job at one of the guard spots. He was playing tackle with the Jets. Philly moved him to guard. Right guard, by the way. But Philly moves him to guard. He has the best season of his career in a 1-year prove-it deal, hits free agency, and the Chargers sign him. So the Chargers sign him to a 2-year deal, 2-year, $20 million, and he stunk this year. There's no other way around it. He was awful. PFF grade was a 37. And they cut him. This was Jim Harbaugh at the owners' meeting when they added Mekhi Becton. So remember, Sirianni raves about him. The Chargers sign him as a free agent. This is what Harbaugh says when they sign him.
The first thing that jumps out at he played so good, so big as a run blocker, that presence that he has there. But the pass protection, maybe is the best quality, the best part of his game. But the run blocking's, elite. But pass blocking as well, elite. Just hard to get around him.
Well, that didn't work. Literally had the worst season of his career with the Chargers this year, so much so that they cut him. So now, here's this guy that's the former 11th overall pick, has this great physical ability. He's 6'7", 363. He's massive, right? He's been in the NFL now since 2020. Just finished his 6th season. He missed an entire season due to injury. And he was okay as a rookie, bad in every other year except one. The 1 year was when he was in Philly when Kellen Moore was his offensive coordinator. And when they made the decision to move him to guard. So the really interesting thing here with Mekhi Becton is, do you look at Becton and say, okay, this is a young guy who's 26 years old. He's had 2 solid seasons, 1 really good season. But if you include his rookie year, 2 solid seasons. He's an unrestricted free agent. And they are projecting at Spotrac his market value at 4 years, $53.9 million. Is this worth it for a young guy that's still 26? He'll be 27, by the way, on April the 18th. So next month he'll be 27. So this will be his age 27 season coming up. a guy that has missed an entire season due to injury, has never been a consistently good player. But the 1 year he was good was in this offense with your head coach when he was the OC. And he plays the spot that you need. I can get there with Mekhi Becton. I can't get there with Mekhi Becton on a 4-year, $54 million contract that's going to average out at $13.5 million. Like, we've talked about Ed Ingram, for example, as a guy that struggled on his rookie contract, went to Houston this year, and took off. Seems to be ascending. We talked about other guys like Wyatt Teller. We've talked about a lot of these veterans that are out there who maybe are into their 30s that if you sign them to a multi-year deal, you might be getting them on the decline of their career. Becton, for me, is a really intriguing prospect and possibility because he has been a good NFL starter at guard in this offense. But he has had more seasons in the NFL as a bad player that it's hard to justify, it's impossible to justify a 4-year contract at $54 million for Mekhi Becton. So this, for me, if that's the market, it's a hard pass. If there's an opportunity to sign him to a similar deal like he had in Philly, he signed it was a prove-it deal. It was 1 year, $2.75 million, his year in Philly. He plays great. He gets a 2-year, $20 million deal with the Chargers. He was so bad this year, the Chargers cut him. I don't know how you get to that valuation, but if there's a somewhere in between, I'm not saying you're going to get him for a 1 year, $2.75 million deal, but is there a comparable deal to what you just saw him sign with the Chargers? A 2-year, $20 million deal thereabouts with some protections, maybe some incentives for playing time? I can get there. I can get there with Becton. Not what they're projecting as far as what his market value would be. One thing that I think should be a certainty that we all agree on, though, is the Saints need to add a young veteran offensive guard in free agency to solidify that offensive line, to protect Tyler Shuck. You heard Jim Harbaugh talk about the pass protection, and to help pave the way for a running game that was one of the worst in the NFL last year. So, guard in free agency, something I would love to see the Saints address Wednesday as soon as the free agency period opens when the league year begins. Okay, we're brought to you by Evermore. EVAMOR, Evermore.com, Evermore.com. Always have my bottle of Evermore here with me. Drink it every day. I like to buy the 4 packs of 64-ounce bottles. You can find your favorite. They have 20-ounce bottles, 32-ounce bottles. You can find them at great retailers everywhere. You want to find a retailer near you that has Evermore? Easy. Go to the website, evermore.com, evermore.com, EVAMOR, no E at the end, EVAMOR, evermore.com. You hit the little hamburger menu and it'll say like find a store, type in your zip code, and boom, just like that. It'll show you all the locations nearest you where you can find Evermore at stores near you. And you can always buy it online at evermore.com, EVAMOR, evermore.com. They have national distribution. So a lot of you watch, listen, you live outside of Louisiana. Awesome. Still make sure you go check out where you can find Evermore near you, evermore.com. All right, y'all. Jimmy will be here in about 15 minutes for Otter Locks. We're brought to you by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Bad loss for LSU on the road at UL Lafayette. Jay Johnson turning the page a little bit with Sacramento State coming to the box this weekend. We'll let you hear from Jay Johnson and a quick thumbnail preview of Sacramento State coming to Alec Box. We'll talk much more about tomorrow on the show when Terrio's here, but we'll do that as we continue on AFR.
AFR.
We are brought to you by Clegg's Nursery, where I always encourage you to bypass the big box store. Bypass the big box store and shop local. Clegg's has been a part of our community for more than 60 years. 60. Listen, I understand, like, there's some things that you're going to go to the big box stores to get, right? But I'll always encourage you, when you can, to support great local businesses. And with Clegg's, I love telling you about Clegg's because they got 4 locations, so they're convenient no matter where you are in Baton Rouge, there's a Clegg's near you. They have an amazing selection. They keep expanding. Their greenhouses are full with shipments arriving daily. And their flowers and plants and trees and shrubs, they're all grown locally, so they're acclimated to South Louisiana. So they're going to last and thrive. They got Johnny Naylor seeds and other great local products. So bypass the big box store. Buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
We want to score more runs. That's just, we want to score more runs. I'm going to try to keep it simple. And then we have to stay out of the big inning. And that is going to be the biggest predictor in winning and losing. And then those are usually created by free bases. We're not getting enough of those on offense right now. And so we need to look at our hallmark or plate discipline or approach to create those. And we've created a bunch of them in our time here when we've been really successful. And then you suppress big innings by not giving them that.
Jay Johnson wants to score more runs and not give up as many runs. It sounds simple, but he's not wrong. It's things that he has talked about often, especially he acknowledges all the time. Like, you're going to give up runs, but you got to limit the damage to single runs and don't allow the crooked number in the beginning. So that's something that they weren't able to do. And he's right, by the way. If you look at the game on Wednesday night, you look at the first and the fifth. The first was a blow-up inning that started with Guidry walking the second hitter. You had errors on York and Guidry in the inning. And then if you go to the fifth, you had an error on the bunt, an error on the pitcher. Then Rizzi hit a guy, uncorked a wild pitch, walked a guy to load the bases, allowed a run to score on a wild pitch. Yeah, you're giving them base runners and free bases. Too much. You need that to be inverted. So see if they can play a cleaner style this weekend and maybe force the issue a little bit offensively with Sacramento State coming in. We'll do a deeper dive on Sacramento State on tomorrow's show, and I don't know that everybody's super interested in learning a lot about Sacramento State. What you need to know from the 10,000-foot view is they're a 3-9 baseball team that their team batting average is, I think it's 211. I wrote it down earlier. Here's the notes. Yeah, their team batting average is 211. And you're going to be throwing Evans, Moore, Schmidt. Like, you should be able to go out there on the mound and dominate this weekend. And then hopefully get your bats going a little bit as well. Their staff ERA is 4.01. They do strike out. They've struck out more hitters than innings pitched. 109 strikeouts, 107 2/3 innings pitched. So, yes, would love to get out there and see the offense get going again at home this weekend. The thing I really wanted to see, though, against UL Lafayette on Wednesday was a little more energy, emotion, focus that was clearly lacking on Monday that I could explain away with the Monday loss to Northeastern. 4-game weekend. You've already beaten Northeastern. It's Northeastern. The park's empty. Like, I get. I get human nature. It's a real thing. Jimmy will be here in a minute. We're going to do Otterlocks, and he talks about all the time, like, the court storm fade, right? A team wins a basketball game, their fans storm the court, you bet against them the next time. Why? It's human nature. You're going to have a letdown effect. We talk about it all the time. Like, those are real things, real emotions. That's part of it. I can understand not being super pumped. Look at what happened when you emptied the bench on Monday and all the young guys went in that were with their hair on fire, that were fired up to get their chance. They rallied and damn near pulled off an improbable comeback. Not having great energy and discipline early in that game against ULL, that's disappointing. I'm not going to say it's concerning because I don't think LSU is going to get into key SEC games or in Omaha and not be ready to play. It's just disappointing that it happened that way. So this team has to learn how to win, take advantage of those opportunities. The other thing Jay was asked about was the defense, which is, I don't want to say the defense has been bad. There have been bad moments that have led to some ugly innings. But that's never going to be the thing Jay focuses on. He's an offensive guy he'll give up a glove to get a premium bat in the lineup. But when you're not hitting, it magnifies the defensive shortcomings.
I think you look at each play or situation in that play. I think I think we clearly had some difficulty at first base in the game the other night. That personnel decision that I got to do a good job with. Tonight, they're going to force you to play fast catch. They do it as good as anybody that I've seen, and you know what you're going to get, and they executed perfectly. The ball that York didn't make the play on, or Aaron Beatty dropped, I don't know how hard it was hit. It was hit hard, and we need to be comfortable playing fast catch.
That was a key moment. It was a ground ball to first, and York gloved it and fired home. And he's got to touch the base and get the out and fire home accurately. And he didn't. And Aaron Beatty wasn't able to come up with it and allowed a run to score. And then allowed the runner to get the second. And it's just want to see him play cleaner. This is a talented team. We've seen him do it. And losses happen. I'm not going to melt over that. It was more what seemed like a lethargic, uninspired, like UL Lafayette played faster. With just they were a step faster in the game, and it's hard to put pressure on a team, and it's hard to react when a team their style is to pressure you and play fast. If you're not locked in, so Tigers get Sacramento State 3-game series. We'll watch the weather this weekend as well, with an eye on the sky. We're expecting rain at various points all throughout the weekend. Friday, actually, right now, looks pretty good, which is great to see. But there is a 70% chance of rain on Saturday, 90% chance of rain on Sunday, and 70% on Monday. So might be dodging some showers. We'll see if they alternate any start times as a result. If we get them, of course, stay tuned here on our socials. We'll keep you up to date. All right, it's After Further Review, brought to you by Parish Construction and Roofing. I want to remind you, 2 weeks from tomorrow is when we close the entries for our $25K giveaway. So remember, in order to win the $25,000, we have to have already completed the roof inspection. So we're going to draw the winner on the 27th. But 2 weeks from tomorrow, the 20th, is the deadline to get your name in there, okay? So that'll give us another week, if you get your name in there on the 20th, another week to do the inspection. But it's easy. Sign up for a free, no-obligation roofing inspection. That's all you got to do. Sign up for a free, no-obligation roofing inspection, and you are entered to win $25,000 cash. It's that simple. Someone's going to win $25K. Might as well be you. And even if you don't, guess what? You get a free roofing inspection. Full report we'll give to you with photos and everything, so you'll have it if a storm comes somewhere down the line. If you have damage, great. We'll help you out. But if not, great too. You have a comprehensive inspection report that if a storm comes down the line, you can cross-check it as a reference point with your insurance provider so they could say, okay, look, this was what my roof looked like on March the 5th. Well, here's what it looks like now. We could date this damage or whatever it is to this storm, and you could file a claim and do all that stuff. So anyway, point is, we'd love to help you out. Parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. When you go to the website, you see the big banner pop up on the homepage. I don't know if you can pull that up, Paul, where the banner will flash up there, but no, like when you go to the main page and the big splash screen. There's a giant. When you go to the main page, there's a big splash screen that pops up at parishbuilt.com, and you'll see this big banner come up. Just click that to enter. There it is, right there. It says enter now. Boom. Click enter now, just like that. Fill out your name, your address, whatever it is, and you're entered to win $25,000 cash from Parish Construction Roofing. Parishbuilt.com. Parishbuilt.com. Okay, y'all. It is After Further Review. Final break of the show. Jimmy will be here for Auto Locks to wrap it up next. Stay here.
AFR.
Get Gordon. Get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. You've been injured in an accident. It's not your fault. You know what to do. I tell you every day. Get Gordon and get it done. All different types of injuries as well. Doesn't matter if it's car wreck, big truck wreck, hit and run, workers' comp, maritime, slip and fall, any type of accident. If you've been injured and it's not your fault, you need representation. Let Gordon and his team go to work for you. You can start at getgordon.com, getgordon.com, getgordon.com. If you want to start at the website, great. There's a little chat bubble right at the bottom right. You want to chat with an associate, you can do that at getgordon.com. If you'd rather talk to someone, easy. There's a button on the website, or you can just call 888-8888, 888-8888, 888-8888 for Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys with offices all over the state of Louisiana. You will speak to a local person in your market. You know what to do. GetGordon.com. Get Gordon and get it done. We're brought to you by River Parish Contractors, rpcontractors.com. rpcontractors.com, 25 years, man. Right there in reserve. And they'll do work from Baton Rouge to Chalmette. And I love what they say because, look, when that's your service area, look, we're an hour from anywhere. You can get to them in an hour from anywhere. And their shop is open 24/7. So any client, you want to see the progress of your job at any time, they'll open the shop for you 24/7 at River Parish Contractors. And they can meet your schedule. When they fabricate pipe, structural steel, they do it in-house. They can meet your deadline, your timeline with great pricing as well. On-time delivery date, they control it because they fabricate it themselves at River Parish Contractors. rpcontractors.com.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Down the stretch we come, final segment here on a Thursday edition of AFR, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. One thing left to do, find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Total Maintenance AC Repair. Same-day service means you will never sleep hot. 480-1000. We are Total Maintenance.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
Yo, Otter, what up?
Oh, just eating some boiled crawfish over here at Mike Anderson's today.
So, babe.
Getting ready, Date night, man. Date night.
Let's go. It's date
there
night?
There you go.
Who you taking Hanny out to dinner?
No, actually, I broke my streak. I was thinking like 17 straight odd parties of one, but no, we got 2 dates tonight, JP and Starnsey. So, yeah. So,
Oh, love it,
no,
man.
we all eating crawfish, having a good time. So, anyway, look, but it's been grinding, light schedule on Thursday. I deferred to my boy, Matt Humans, who's back from Bangkok, literally back from Bangkok, and he knows the Big Ten better than ever. He's graduated from Purdue, and he likes Iowa, plus the points tonight.
Okay.
Not sure what it is right now, 9.5.
9.5, yeah, DraftKings.
Yeah, 9.5 at home against Michigan. So we're going to go with Iowa, coming off of a tough loss, and not that they need extra motivation to play the Michigan Wolverines. So, and as most handicappers, pretty proud. Colucci got bruised up last week, so we leaned on him for a 3-pack tonight. We're still profiting for the year. There's the horn. Okay, Musso. I was waiting on you, boy. So anyway, the Islanders had the beach flu, so they went from Orange County and Anaheim. They're going to downtown at the Crypto.com arena in L.A. Not much of a jet lag there, about a 20-minute car ride. Add an hour for L.A. traffic. But anyway, he's going with the Islanders, who are coming off a loss against Anaheim last night. He's going with
Toronto.
Tampa Bay in Toronto.
Yep.
In Toronto. Yes, Toronto playing the Rangers tonight on the road. So he's got a 3-pack again for you tonight. So that's what we're going with. Man, I love the card on Saturday. We went 5-1 on Friday show last week. So we're going to be giving out a bunch of picks for tomorrow's lines on tomorrow's show at Rufino's as they start to unwind. Because during our show, Matt, pretty much all the main games kind of they trickle out the lines for the weekend. And like we said a couple of weekends ago, we get at the early line on certain games because they will move.
Live at lunch tomorrow from Rufino's, 11-1. Charlie and Jimmy. We'll look forward to it. Iowa on the hardwood tonight, and then on the ice, Toronto, the Islanders, and Tampa Bay. All right, Otto, we appreciate it. Enjoy the crawfish,
All right,
man.
good luck.
We appreciate it. All right, it's after further review. Brought to you by Our Lady of the Lake, Championship Health Partner of LSU Athletics. OLOLRMC.com/LSU. That's the website. Our Lady of the Lake and LSU. One of the really cool things, if you watch the show, you'll certainly see when we get to talk about the lake, throughout the different seasons, you'll see the videos and the commercials and the ads and the spots and everything that they run with so many of the LSU athletes. So it's like a lot of the basketball content right now. You've seen, Flaugier and Michaela Williams and Jada Richard, a lot of the LSU women's basketball team, the stars that are helping pace this team toward hopefully another deep March run into the NCAA tournament. And it is the team at Our Lady of the Lake that's helping keep Flaugier and the LSU women's basketball team healthy and ready to roll throughout March Madness. Soon you'll start to see more of the baseball Tigers as well that they've done NIL deals with. But they're the championship health partner of LSU Athletics. They have the student contract as well, so the student health center there on LSU's campus. And then for everyday champions, I've told you a million times, my son Drew sees some of the specialists over at Our Lady of the Lake Children's Hospital. Amazing resource, not just in Baton Rouge, but the entire region. My primary care physician is Dr. Curtis Chastain at the Our Lady of the Lake Men's Health Group. They have access and convenience. It's what you want in healthcare. It's Our Lady of the Lake. Championship health partner of LSU Athletics. OLOLRMC.com/LSU. Our Lady of the Lake and LSU. Together, we roar. All right, y'all. Been a good show. Appreciate you for spending part of your day with us. If you missed anything AFR on demand, we did recap LSU's loss to UL Lafayette. We talked about Cam Jordan, who's going to hit free agency. Ross Jackson was here. Bill Conley from ESPN was with us last hour. Interesting. He ranks all 68 Power 4 quarterback situations using his SP Plus ranking system and then throws in a little bit of the eye test as well. Got Sam Levitt 14th on the list. A little surprised to see Levitt that low, but coming off an injury, maybe. But you would think Lane Kiffin, his quarterback, get the benefit of the doubt. In any event, you missed anything, catch AFR on demand, presented by Brett Golf. All right, Muse Paulie, thanks. Y'all have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
Speaking of crawfish, remember, Rouse's has crawfish every day. I think I added a syllable. I don't think every's 2 syllables. I think it's just every. Every. One syllable on every. It doesn't matter. Go get crawfish at Rouse's. Tomorrow, Friday, and Lent. Remember, if you need your seafood options, they'll have boiled crawfish at Rouse's tomorrow. They'll also have their hot and boiled kiosk. So if you want your fried seafood, they got it. You want your boiled seafood, they got it. You want sushi, they have pre-rolled sushi, grab and go every day over at Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. You making groceries? Remember, personal shopper can always help you out. Go to the Rouse's app, select your items, pull up into one of the designated spots. Your personal shopper will bring your items out to you. But it's everything. From making groceries to dinner for the whole family to boiled crawfish. Rouse's, this feels like home.